What's up everyone? This is BigPowner, and in this video I'm going to be sharing and giving tips on how I deal with looting. Um, this is kind of a big question, and it goes into, can you show how exactly do you store loot, how do you price it and vendor it, how accurate you try to be with pricing, and how does your minimum price for selling change? So I'm going to start off with the minimum price for selling. The minimum price for selling is basically related to how much currency I'm earning. When I first start out, um, season start, a item that's worth, a few chaos is something that's worthwhile to me. So what I'll do is I'll show you my first tab of the season. We have some stuff in here, like 10 chaos, like 5 chaos, 20, and all this stuff now, 10 alchemies, um, and all this stuff's garbage now. Like, I can throw all of this away. Um, some of this stuff was really valuable in the beginning of the game, but now it's, it was more valuable to me. Like, this was really valuable in the beginning of the game, and it didn't sell. Um, But the way that I deal with my looting is I take and I do them in a progression in my tabs. So what you'll see is as you move along into the gear, you have more and more expensive gear. Um, and then you get to, there's still some, early items in here, but you're getting to more stuff, and this is, closer. You can see I still have talismans in here, which I won't even pick up talismans now. These are older loot tabs. So let's look at the newest loot tab. So now we're at a place where, I'm picking up bases that are more desirable, um, things with, you know, good enchantments, more expensive items on bases that are more desirable. Diamond rings, opal rings, Steigen belt, crystal belt, with perfect implicit tier 1 maximum energy shield, double. You get the point. Um, that's kind of how my progression goes, and you'll see that this one, I don't know why that's in there. I think it's because this was mirrored. It's the difference of having an open stat and not. Um, but you can kind of see a huge difference in the general pricing. Outside of that one that was, I guess I have another one that's 40 chaos. I have this one for 40 chaos, and the reason why is because 7% HP. I figured that would probably sell, and it's also got daggers and damage over time, which there are builds that use that. I figured that might sell, so I figured that would be a quick turnover. Um, and that's like close to my range. Normally I won't go with anything that's that might also be priced on the low end. That might be why I picked it up. It might be priced way under. Actually no, it's not. I don't know why that's in there. Anyways, the point is, you can see I'm getting into a lot more valuable stuff, and in general, my cutoff point is 50 chaos. And you can even see like here, I have more. This is actually a little while ago. I don't pick up as much loot now, and a lot of the older tabs, there gets to be a certain point where the time that I picked it up has passed and its value is really gone. Like, I could safely just click on these tabs, dump all this stuff in my inventory and throw it away. Why is that? Because when I picked up these items, first of all, the currency I had was really low, so it was worthwhile for me to pick them up. Second of all, everyone's loot is absolutely horrible. So someone might actually need this stuff. Um, but after a week, this tab, well, the first week's kind of a little bit different because I play on PC and consoles release the next week, so new players could have still bought from that tab. Um, but I could safely go through both of these and just completely dump the whole tab. I don't normally do that because I got enough tabs and like, what am I gonna do with the time? I don't clear that stuff out. I take my at the end of the season, I don't play standard, but I like to throw all my best stuff into some tabs and label them. So if for some reason in the future I want to go get some crazy gear or put together like a crazy metamorph standard character where I use all the stuff I've collected over all these seasons to make some crazy character, then I can do that. Um, but in general, that stuff's just gonna disappear anyways into the void that is standard for me. Um, so I don't even waste the time to do that. If you have list tabs, that's something you should actively be doing. Like obviously, if you have list tabs, you have less space to sell stuff in, so you should be, going back and checking to see if that stuff's worthwhile. If it's been in there for a really long time, there's two things that you can do. One, you can reprice it. If it's priced at, 2x alts and it's been in there for a week and it ain't selling, you're probably going to want to lower the price or throw it away. Which, if you originally thought it was worth 2x alts, you might want to try down pricing it and see if it sells, because something is better than nothing. If you hold on to an item all season and the last 2 days of the season someone pays you 5x alts, that didn't really help you. You probably would have been better off if the first week you got 1x alt for it, because then you would have actually gotten to buy something that you needed when you didn't have much currency, and then your build would have been that much stronger right away. Or you get the idea. So that's kind of how I deal with my tabs. Pricing, I've kind of given you a little bit into pricing or repricing, um, which is kind of going to lead into pricing. Pricing is a pretty difficult thing to do. And the reason why is because it takes a culmination of a lot of things to get pricing right. And why is that? First of all, what's popular for you because of your build that you're playing is not necessarily what's popular in the community. I'm going to give you a pretty good tip on how to know what's popular. You can go to PoE Ninja. This is one of the resources that I use. It's not 100%, I will explain that. But you're going to go to PoE Ninja and you're going to go to builds. And it's really simple. You can just look at the builds and what are the most people playing. I can see right here 29% of the community is playing Necromancer. That means Necromancer gear is really valuable. And then I can be like, I'm gonna click on the Necromancer. What is it that people are using a lot of? What is the most popular skill? Raise Zombies 47%, Summon Skeletons 45%, Vol Summon Skeletons 38%, Raise Spectre 19%. So zombie skeletons and specters seem really, really popular. I can also see that the most popular gear, we have the Baron, Efficient Training, Shaper's Touch, Astromanus, Rumi's Concoction, Aberrant's Warpath, Blood of the Karui, Joffrey's Sanctuary. So I can see, in general, I can see the rares. Obviously, there's going to be the largest demand for a build that there's the most people playing for. If I really wanted to get some information, if I didn't know anything about Necros, um, I've told you guys this before, go look at a popular build, see what it is that they're recommending for gear, and even if you're not playing the build, what is it that you can do? You can look for gear that those people are using and sell it to them, which is a very viable and profitable way to make currency. Um, so there you go. I've given you a big tip, and now you have the way that you can figure that out on your own. There's a lot more ways you can use more information. Like you could, I don't know. I mean, I'll give you ideas. I ain't gonna tell you specific things to craft, and I've gone over this before. And the reason why I'm not gonna tell you to craft something is because anytime someone puts out on to a group of people, this is a good thing to do. Invest into to make currency, that thing no longer is good to make currency. And I'll tell you this for a fact also, most of the time when popular people are doing that, it's already not worthwhile doing. Usually, a lot of times when people make videos like this is really profitable to do, yeah, they made profit doing it, but when they told you about it, it's no longer profitable. There's a lot of things in the game that are only profitable during certain windows, and I've gone over this before with like the boss killing and how the value goes down. Like the elder stuff was a really good example. um, I gave the example, let's go back to economy. I gave the example of the unique items that come from elder shaper, and the original items that I was saying, the biggest one was, let's find it, the Void Fletcher. So at the time, I was like, the Void Fletcher was 19 exalts 3 days ago, and now it's, I think it was like 6 exalts. Well, now it's a few days later, and guess where the Void Fletcher is at? Once again, it has dropped. Who would have guessed? Now it's 4 exalts. Um, it's, is it like I can see the future? No, I understand the economy of this game really, really well. Like I can predict patterns in the value of exalted orbs. It's because it's pretty much the same thing every season. You can tell what's going to happen when you understand all of the stuff and you understand people coming into the game, people leaving the game. But uh, that's way too much information for me to just, create a video on it. I mean, if you want to have a if you want to have a talk with Poner, and I share all of my information, and we can sit here for like 4 or 5 days and I just tell you everything I know about the economy and how it's going to flux and ebb, and the difference between item values based on what classes are being it would be too much, way too much. Like a lot of this stuff is going to be stuff you have to learn by experience. But that being said, I've given you the ways, the methods that I used to become informed on that stuff. And, what have I just done? I've told you focus on the biggest groups. Maybe don't, I mean, maybe, I mean, you can go into every single group, but my suggestion would be to pick the top ones. Which, what are the top ones right now? We got Necromancer and we got Saboteur. They make up 41% of the community are playing Necromancer or Saboteur. Um, so that's, I mean, you can target 41% of the community on the items that you're picking, um, just with that bit of information. And that's something you can use every season. And the thing is, I'll give you a spoiler, most of the popular builds, they don't really change much. Like people just basically suggest the exact same shit every season. Like they have no ingenuity, no nothing changes. I mean, I can tell you every season the builds I see getting suggested, it's just because it's a popular build, and um and people have the same items they go for early every single time, and those are what are going to be expensive. So by learning the Necro and the Saboteur, you learn that information this season and you're going to already have it next season. And are those going to necessarily be the popular builds at the beginning of the season or mid-season? No, but now you already have that information. So when you see those pieces of gear, Is there necessarily going to be 29% of the community next season playing Necro? Probably not. Um, we'll have to see what the season is, and what the mechanics are and stuff like that. I mean, most people don't really actually think what's smart for the season mechanics anyways. So I mean, I guess that's not even really a factor. It's kind of just whatever. It's kind of just whatever someone says is going to be good or something like that. Um, the other thing that makes stuff, um, a lot of people will just start what was good on the previous season. So like if you played something that was good during a certain season, um, there's a lot of people that will just go with what they already know. And this honestly is not. This is honestly a better choice than just picking a build that someone's just like, I'm saying this is the best build, and I haven't even seen the patch notes, and this is gonna be the best build next season. That's just horseshit. Um, and you can look back to the beginning of my season videos. I called all of this shit. Like I, when I finally suggested what build I was going to play, I told you the builds that I was considering before seeing the patch notes, but I wasn't going to suggest those because I hadn't seen the patch notes. And I called out all the weaknesses on even the builds that I was considering because I thought they'd be good, but after I saw the patch notes, I wasn't going to do them. And it's funny because those builds that I called that on, there's a bunch of streamers that chose the stuff that I was like, this stuff sounded like a good idea until I read the patch notes. And what did those streamers have to do? Reroll characters or struggle really badly. It's like I can see the future. And it's like I was able to read some document that like told me what was going to happen in the season and I was able to understand it. Oh, patch notes. They released those. Maybe you should read those before you give suggestions. Anyways, um, so yeah, it's basically collecting information so that you know what's valuable. The other biggest tool for you early on in the game is you want. I mean, this makes really good sense, and this is so when you're playing a build, you know what is good for the build. So anyone playing a build like that build is going to also want the same things that you want. So obviously, if an item looks good to you based on the build that you're playing, then that's going to be a good item. Every time you play a new build, you're going to learn more information about what's good because you're playing a new build and now you're going to be like, oh, this is the stuff that works good for me, these are the stats I need, this is how this works. These stats are really good on this item, these stats aren't. So that's going to also give you more information. So that's why I'm saying like experience is going to make it, because like if I pick up any item, I'm going to know if it's good for a bow build because I've played bow builds several seasons. In 3 seasons I've played bow builds. Um, so I mean I play most of the builds. There's some builds that I just tried once and I was like, that shit's gay. Boring, slow. There's no reason for me to play that. No, thank you. um, but um, yeah, I mean it's just collective information. You gotta, if you want to do a little bit of extra effort to try to understand what else is valuable, that will help you out. The other thing, I've told you guys this before, I'm telling you it again. Maybe this is your first time seeing one of my videos. You need you need the PoE Trade macro. You need PoE Trade macro and a loot filter. Why the loot filter? It's gonna clear out all the gray shit, low tier bases, and it's gonna show you the items that aren't as valuable because they ain't gonna be all highlighted or flashy. Um, so that's gonna help you sift through a lot of the crap. Because like if you don't have a loot filter, I mean, sitting there and not knowing what is good and being like, I don't want to miss anything, like, that's horrible. That's a horrible experience, and it's really slow, and it's very counterintuitive to making currency. Um, I have told you guys, like, some of bases. But I mean that's really more just learned stuff. The rest of the question, I mean, pricing for selling. Um, if I don't know much about an item, which obviously if you guys are really interested in this, that's probably what you're going to be doing a lot of the time. There's a few ways to figure out the price of an item. On uniques, you need to do two things. First of all, check PoE Ninja, but you also need to check the actual trading site. So you need to go to PoE Trade, get on the site, type in your item's name, look it up, see what the prices are. You have to be careful with selling really expensive items. The reason why is because people basically try to scam you out of your items. The way they do this, it's called price fixing. The way they do this is they basically create a bunch of fake posts for the items. Um, and they aren't actually selling them. So if you look at the prices on the PoE Ninja and it says that the items were 6 exalts, and you get on PoE Trade and there's like 3 items that are, 50 chaos, and then the rest of them are like 5 exalts or above, those really low ones are probably someone trying to price fix so that someone will hop on there, see that the lowest one's 1 exalt, and they'll throw it on there for, an exalt or just a little bit less to try and sell it. Then they buy it and then they sell it for 5 exalts. It's something to be aware of. I haven't seen as much of it this season. Um, the other thing for trading is, I haven't had issues with this any season ever before. Well, watch out for people scamming. Um, I did get scammed this season, and the main reason is because I just trusted people on trading because everyone's been pretty straightforward with me. I've even had someone that I accidentally gave them 10 exalts instead of one, and they gave them back to me um, because they were an honest person and they weren't a thief. So, but unfortunately, there are thieves in this game, and a really unfortunate thing is the gaming company, although I like their customer service when you have issues with money transactions or issues with the game, they basically support people scamming you. They will do absolutely nothing about it, which that's kind of taking a stance of supporting supporting that type of behavior in their community. Um, so just make sure that when you're doing a trade, what you are trading for is actually in the trade screen. Um, and I will give you a hint. If someone goes, wait a second, cancels the trade, they're probably trying to scam you. Because that's what the person did. And I was just like, I just want to go back to my map. And I just put the item in. And when they clicked green, I clicked green. And I was like, what, wait, what? And I was just like, alright, dude. um, but that is something to be aware of so that hopefully none of that doesn't happen to any of you guys, because if one of you guys lost 5 exalts, that would probably, I could imagine how shitty that would feel. I was a little bit irritated, I ain't gonna lie, um, but it wasn't devastating for me because I am really good at earning currency. But for someone else that doesn't have as much currency, that could be really devastating, and I don't want to have that happen to any of you guys. Um, so just make sure. I don't think people are gonna do that on, if you're selling something for 10 or 20 chaos. Maybe they will. I mean, I'm not a thief, so I don't know how people like that think, but I think it's mostly for like big items that people are trying to do that. I've had other people tell me that people keep on trying to scam them and stuff like that, and I was like, dude, I've never seen that. But now I've experienced it because I got too lackadaisical and too trusting. Anyways, um, I mean, I think I pretty much covered all the tips on that. It's a lot of learning. You can go back. Like, I've got a lot of shit that, I mean, all this stuff I'm gonna have to just delete. But I could go back through and I could be like, oh, let me find a tab where something might still have value, but it needs to get repriced. That's garbage. Yeah, it's definitely not worth that now. Yeah, like a lot of this stuff is just, why do I have that? Oh, it's for the possibility. It's a craft, but still, it ain't worth that. I think I actually put a 0 on that. I was like, why do I even have this in here? Oh, it's got double poison with poison damage and level of socketed gem, so it can be a +3 bow with the double poison mod. And it's got a slot for making an influence. So yeah, that could be a really dope item. Could be. Could be. um Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 2, Tier 2. Someone might want to make something with that. But some of the stuff I could go back through, and it's been sitting in here for a little while and hasn't sold, and time has passed, so it's possibly, yeah, like I should downprice this. 3 exalted orbs. I mean, if it ain't selling at 1 exalt, yeah, we'll make it 50 chaos. So kind of just going through. We'll make that 3 exalts. 10 to 15 exalts, and I have it listed for 7. What are the mods on here? Is this like one of the most expensive bases? But yeah, so I mean, you can go back through. If stuff isn't selling, some of the really high priced items, this is something I'm going to say. Some really high priced items, like I will get items before most people that are worth way more than what most people can afford. Will someone wind up buying them when they can afford them? Yes. But a lot of people don't have, even people that play a ton, don't have the kind of currency to buy a lot of items when I get them. So I kind of have to let some items sit for a while because, if even if someone wants the item and is willing to pay it, if they ain't got the currency to buy the item, they ain't gonna be able to buy it. Um, and then I have like some things that are like things that people really have to look for. Like this could be a really good item for someone, um, but it's not something someone would really be looking for. But I know if someone's looking for something like this, what is this? This is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 6 stat. Um, it's got the Takatis on it. It had some nice rolls. I thought maybe someone would want that. Some of that type of stuff I sell sometimes. I mean, this is a 6 link for 2 exalts. It's priced at 4 to. It's valued at 4 to 6. I could change the crafted mod. This is something I had really early in the game. I could change the crafted mod on that. It might sell. It's not bad DPS, 459 DPS. And if I change the bottom mod, it would have even higher DPS because I could get it up to 16%. It would probably be like 500 DPS while counting the elemental. And there's some builds that might want something like that. So that's probably something I'll leave in there at that. This one, actually, I'm probably gonna turn this one into a base. I'm gonna craft with this. I don't even want to sell this at that price. I'm gonna put this in TT. Because 5 exalts is not even worth me trying to get another one of these bases with 6 links. Like, I can't believe that didn't sell for 5 exalts. And yes, I invested an exalt on crafting onto that. And it has tier 1 flaring. I can't believe this shit didn't sell. For 5 exalts? That's crazy. Oh well. You guys will get to watch me, because I'm not just gonna roll over this. I'm gonna try annulling this. Actually, let's do it right now. Actually, I'm gonna save it for a crafting video. And we'll do it when we do the whole thing. I'll tell you all the reasons why I'm doing something instead of just watching me. I mean, even if I get lucky, it's not gonna really mean much, unless we go through the whole process. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I hope the pricing and stuff helps you. You'll notice like I have a lot of tabs with like influence items in them and stuff like that outside of my this isn't trading stuff. Um, there's a reason for this. First of all, the new influence crafting, I save for that stuff. The other reason is I do a lot of crafting. So having the right item level base with the right influence will cause me to save something. But you see, I have like a lot of garbage bases that I'm not gonna be actually using to like this. There's no way I'm gonna use this for this. It's a widow silk robe. It's not a Vol Regalia, which means it ain't really worth that much. No, and I ain't gonna craft on it, even though it has 100% reduced reflected elemental damage. Which, if you've seen my video on reflected damage, that's not even that good of a mod, anyways. Um, Rings I always keep for crafting, and I can use this to add influence to this. It's not a high enough item level though, so I don't know why that's in there. But I keep a lot of extra stuff because I use them to craft with. Obviously, like I do it to excess, like really excessive. These are empty ones, but I have a lot of extra bases. But that's because I do a lot more crafting than most people. Because I'm not crafting for one build, I'm crafting for a lot of builds, and then I also just like to craft for fun. So when I have extra currency, I like to just burn it, I just keep on trying to make crazier and crazier weapons. Like, eventually I'll try and make a crazier weapon than this one. We'll see if we can get one around like 700 instead of 600. Um, so yeah, I mean, like, some of my stash tabs are just complete messes. I normally have a tab where I keep stuff that I might use with my build. Like this one, I've got a lot of extra level 20 gems just from testing. I also have a level 1 because I don't know why I still have a level 1. Oh, because I was supposed to start leveling another one because I bricked that one. But like extra level 20 ice shot, and there's a failed one and I have my level 21. Why is it that I have that? Because I'm always leveling gems. But what am I? Oh shit! I'm power about to be level 3. Let's hope it gets level 4. That's 9 exalts. um, but yeah. So, um, that is some tips on how I do stuff. But a lot of it's just going to be experience. Take those few tips that I used, use the resources that I use, and you should be able to learn a lot faster. Thanks for watching. Peace.